Hello, welcome back. I'm Statman Dave, and today we're going to take a look at 3 players Manchester United could sign to replace Raphael Varane. Remember to subscribe if you're new, smash that like button, but anyway, let's get this party started. Before we start, I know that there's major problems at Manchester United, and replacing just one player won't fix them. But a major problem at Old Trafford has been the woeful recruitment that has seen millions of pounds wasted on the wrong types of players. Players without the required ability or simply bad personalities. The problems won't truly be fixed until the Glazers relinquish full control of Manchester United and allow the club to be a serious football institution again. So United should focus on young, talented project players until this can happen. So today we're going to look at those types of players that United should bring in to replace Raphael Varane. When Manchester United signed Raphael Varane, there was a lot of excitement, but the 4 times Champions League winner has failed to live up to expectations. A loss of physicality combined with a lot of injuries has seen Varane become a shadow of the former World Cup winner. Even with his drop-off, Varane is still one of the best defenders at Manchester United in and around the box. But having missed more than a Premier League season worth of matches in his career at Old Trafford, the Frenchman simply can't be relied upon. Varane is also not a ball-playing defender. A defender first in possession, Varane isn't the most comfortable, especially when playing under pressure. His first thought is usually to go sideways or backwards. Meanwhile, when progressive passing lanes do open up, Varane often takes too many touches, which can see the gap get closed down. See the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers at Old Trafford, first game of the season. Varane was very poor in playing the ball forward. From a defensive perspective, having won just 40% of his tackles he's made against dribblers over the past year, Varane actually ranks in the bottom 2% of centre-backs across Europe's top 5 leagues. Meanwhile, his total tackle plus interception numbers per 90 rank him in the bottom 4%. So Manchester United have a specialist defensive centre-back who's struggling to defend and can't stay fit for a full season. Replacing Raphael Varane with a modern ball-playing defender would be a big improvement. Ideally, any new centre-back signing would be a good ball player who isn't just comfortable on the ball, but also has a good range of passing. They also need to be comfortable at defending the wide areas with the ability to follow markers if required. They also need to be right-footed or at least comfortable playing at right centre-back. So that being said, they can play alongside Lisandro Martinez. So who should Manchester United target? The most obvious target is Jean-Claire Todibo. According to reports, Ineos' own Nice would sell the Frenchman for €40 million, which is a very good price for a Champions League potential level defender. Todibo is almost a modern day Raphael Varane. The 23-year-old is defensively very strong with great mobility. He also reads the game superbly and has a very good appreciation for danger. This can often see Todibo preemptively moving or at least positioning himself to deal with long balls. Combine this with his impressive speed and physicality, Todibo can be a tough opponent for attackers. In particular, Todibo is not afraid to defend the extreme wide areas near the touchline. He's quite aggressive in these situations and can be bypassed by a skillful dribbler, but Todibo wins a lot more tackles against dribblers than most. In fact, the Frenchman ranks in the top 8% of centre-backs across Europe's top 5 leagues for dribblers tackled per 90, with a tackle win rate in these challenges of 69.5%. This aggression also sees Todibo frequently stepping out of the back line. This is particularly useful when an opponent looks to receive with the ball with their back to goal in between the lines, as Todibo can put pressure on their back, stopping them turning, sometimes even dispossessing them outright. What's more is that if this player can avoid his challenge, Todibo's mobility means he can quickly drop back into shape if his teammates can stall the attack. The biggest praise I can give Todibo's defensive work is his encounters with Kylian Mbappe. Todibo has often come out on top. In fact, in Nice's 3-2 win over PSG from this season, Mbappe failed to complete a dribble when coming up against Todibo, and whilst Mbappe scored twice in the game, Todibo could have done nothing about those goals. In possession, Todibo is solid. He's composed and understands the fundamentals of possession play. But the impressive thing about Todibo is his ability to stop the ball with his soul and then allow the opposition to move on to him. This is becoming more and more common with modern possession play, with the likes of Mikel Arteta and Roberto De Zerbi, the biggest champions of La Pausa. That's stopping the ball, allowing the opponents to catch up and then moving it forward. Statistically, Todibo doesn't excel at progressive passes. That's his partner Dante. Todibo ranks in the top 19% of centre-backs across Europe's top 5 leagues for progressive passes. but his comfort on the ball suggests this definitely could be improved if he's played in the right setup. For Nice, when Todibo does look to go long, he notably looks for the right winger, but his switches can be quite slow. He's much better when he plays fizz passes at head high into the channels for the forwards. For Manchester United, he could definitely work as the partner to Lisandro Martinez. Both are excellent fits to Ten Hag's kind of man-to-man aggressive structure and are strong in 1v1 duels. Whilst Todibo's preference to retain possession with short and accurate passes also blends with Lisandro's progressive ability. Still just 23 years old, Jean-Claire Todibo wouldn't just be a big upgrade right now, but he could get even better as he gains more experience. I've been working on something very special for a few months now, and it's time to let you in. I love football and I love coffee, so we've brought those two things together and created Kick Coffee. I wanted to create a coffee brand that not only gives back to grassroots football, but also creates a moment of nostalgia every time you drink your morning coffee. We've all got our special moments in football. For me, Scholes versus Barcelona in 2008. An absolute banger, and that's how I like my coffee. We want to connect a special moment to you whilst you're drinking your morning brew. We've been scouting South America for the next best up-and-coming coffees, and I tell you what, we found some. We also want to make a positive change in football, so we'll be donating part of our profits from each roast to grassroots football. We want to give bibs, balls, cones, and support to clubs. The first coffee is coming soon. If you're interested, follow the link down below, drop us your email to join the club. The next player Manchester United should sign is Edmund Tapson. Thriving in Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen, Tapson is basically a midfielder playing in defence. With excellent technical skills, including a good first touch, close control and confident passing range, not to mention his extreme composure in possession. Todibo also has aggression and ball-winning skills of a tough tackling midfielder. Playing on the left of Alonso's back three, Tapson is right-footed, but is very comfortable on his weaker side. In possession, Leverkusen adopt an asymmetrical build-up shape, with Tapson moving into a traditional centre-back position. From here, Tapson plays a lot of line-breaking passes into the midfield ahead of him. Sometimes he just breaks the first line, finding the defensive midfielder, whilst other times he goes directly into the feet of the number 10s. A great example of how good Tapson is at this came in Leverkusen's 2-2 draw at Bayern Munich this season. We pick up the play with Tar in possession in the middle of his own half, as Bayern look to restrict Leverkusen's ability to play through the middle of the pitch. Tar goes sideways to Tapson, who looks to play off his right foot into Palacios or Hoffman. Instead, he plays a sharp diagonal pass on his left foot into Xhaka. At this point, Xhaka had the space to play forward, but decided to retain possession, shrugging off a challenge from Kane before going back to Tar. Tar finds Grimaldo, who drops it back to Tapson. At this point, Leverkusen aren't in a much better position than they were at the start of the move, but Tapson has a narrow lane to Palacios. He takes a positive touch and fizzes it into Palacios, taking 7 Bayern players out and creating a 3v3 for Leverkusen. This season, the Burkina Faso international is averaging more than 7 progressive passes and passes into the final third per 90, whilst ranking first in total amongst Bundesliga defenders for both metrics. Defensively, Tapson is very aggressive. He's extremely efficient at stepping out of the back line to tackle his opponents, whilst his speed allows him to cover great distances. His aggression makes him a very good stopper defender, and when he commits to a challenge, he usually comes out on top. In fact, over the past 2 Bundesliga seasons, Tapson has won 75% of his 2.1 tackles per 90. Still just 24 years old, Edmund Tapson is not the finished article. He's still got work to do on his decision making and can step out and make challenges at the wrong time, whilst he can also sometimes overplay himself when he's in possession. That being said, the talent is there, and with the right coaching, Tapson could become one of the best modern centre-backs in the world. I do realise that Tapson only signed a new contract at Leverkusen in September, which would ramp the price up. If this shuts a move out altogether, United should target Leverkusen's right centre-back, Konosu, who has a very similar profile to Tapson, but 22 isn't as developed. The final centre-back that Manchester United should target to replace Raphael Varane is Gennaro Scalvini. The 19-year-old looks like a generational talent. His future lies in midfield or in defence with an extremely dominant possession-based system like Pep Guardiola's Man City. A supremely confident player with the ball at his feet, Scalvini is technically superb. In possession, he's very calm and can play every kind of pass. Short and simple ones to retain possession, medium-length line breakers, and big but well-hit switches of play. And even he looks to play through balls to split a backline. What's more is that Scalvini is also a good ball carrier and often can invite a challenge before quickly skipping past the challenge with a burst of speed. This combination of great passing and impressive close control makes Scalvini a great player to have in build-up, with a 19-year-old completing more progressive passes than any United centre-back over the last year, with only Lisandro Martinez completing more progressive carries per 90. For as good as Scalvini is now, with around 80 appearances at senior level for Atalanta and Italy, Scalvini can still get better once he physically develops. Watching his youth level matches, he completely dominates everyone he comes up against, but Scalvini is always one of the most technically gifted players too. Standing at 6'4", Scalvini already bullies smaller players at senior level, and in a recent 0-0 draw with Juventus, he won 71% of his 17 duels, but once he fills out, he will become unstoppable. Right now, it does hold him back a little bit. Scalvini is quite a happy defender to step out and press. Often this can see him winning the ball back through tackles using his long legs or making interceptions using his intelligence, with Scalvini ranking the top 1% of centre-backs across Europe's top 5 leagues for tackles plus interceptions per 90. But sometimes when he gets too tight, you can see him be rolled or turned by experienced players. This leads him to giving away a lot of fouls. In fact, Scalvini ranks in the bottom 2% of centre-backs in Europe's top 5 leagues for fouls committed. These shortcomings were really on show in Atalanta's 2-1 defeat to Napoli when Kvaratskhelia gave him a torrid time. The Georgian might have only completed 2 out of 7 dribbles, but Scalvini fouled him 3 times because he got a little bit too tight. What's more is that Scalvini let Kvara run off him for Napoli's opening goal. That being said, we've got to remember that Scalvini is just 19 years old, and the kind of mistakes that we criticise him for are more commonly made by senior pros in their peak years. Playing as a wide centre-back on either side of Atalanta's expansive system, Scalvini is arguably too good to play at centre-back in a back 4, limiting how expansive he could be on the ball whilst highlighting his less than excellent but still decent 1v1 and box defending. But as a wide centre-back for Atalanta, Scalvini frequently is involved in the final third, where he can use excellent ability in possession and able to shine from the inside channels. For Manchester United, he definitely could do a job in defence, but equally he could solve the problems at defensive midfield, much in the way that John Stones has played in a variety of roles at the base of Pep Guardiola's various systems. Scalvini has the potential to be one of the best players in the world of football. Whilst his defending might need a little bit of work, his ability in possession would absolutely improve Manchester United right now. But anyway guys, what do you think? Who do you think United should sign to replace Raphael Varane? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Statman Dave, subscribe if you're new, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not check out some more content on the Statman Dave YouTube channel.